Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome into All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. Super excited for this show. We're going to be live Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays, every one of those days at 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, this is going to be a great show. We're going to go over picks, props, everything happening on the day's slate. So today, we've got an action-filled day, and we've got two guests joining us. We'll have Sean Higgs and Terry Edelmann. Now, we're going to go over TCU versus North Carolina. Super excited for that one. We're also going to go over Thursday Night Footballs, look ahead for that game, as well as 13 games out there on the diamond and 2 CFL games. So we're going to jump right into it. It's going to be an action-packed day. I want you guys to make sure you jump into those comments. Let us know your questions. We'll try to get to each and every single one of those for you. Now, there is a poll up on Twitter right now. So go on over to my Twitter, go over to my X at Joe Madden Sports. We're running a poll. Want to see what you guys are liking in the TCU game tonight. In that game, if you're liking TCU laying the 3.5, if you're liking UNC plus the 3.5 on the money line, or if you're looking at that total. So jump in on that poll and make sure you do have your odds logic screen up while we're doing this so you can see the best of those numbers. So we want to start off here today with looking at the weekend. Who hurt you this weekend? If you guys have any comments on who hurt you this weekend, make sure you put that in the chat there. Who hurt me? Well, my Buckeyes. My Buckeyes rolled in as ultimately the dog versus Texas. They were a 2.5-point favorite, and we saw those lines flip. Now, my heart was with my Buckeyes, but they hurt my wallet. I did think the Texas Longhorns would have more success in the shoe, and I know it was asking a lot with them rolling in against this offense and the defense of Ohio State, the reigning champions there. But I really did think Arch Manning would come out stronger. The storyline behind that game, well, we had to look at the defense of Ohio State. That defense came out so incredibly strong, really shutting down Arch Manning, not able to get anything done out there. Now, those odds have moved on him for the Heisman, and I think it's an overreaction. So if you guys do think Arch Manning will come out stronger like I do, you're definitely getting better value now for him to take the Heisman. So something to look at for you guys out there. Florida State beating Alabama. That was a crazy one, you guys. Florida State winning that one 31-17, pulling off the upset. Their quarterback was absolutely fantastic out there. Their defense didn't allow Alabama to get things going either. And then Boise State without Ashton Genty wasn't able to get anything done. Their defense couldn't contain South Florida's quarterback Brown. They weren't able to get anything done. He finished with 122 yards on the ground. And Boise State just wasn't able to move that ball. And the last one, the total that crushed me out there was LSU and Clemson. How were we not seeing a higher scoring game? We saw that one finish 17-10 for LSU. Now, if you grabbed LSU as the dog, you were sitting on the right side of that one. They were up a 4.5-point dog, and they were right around that plus 150 to plus 170 on the money line. So hopefully some of you guys had that. But looking at that quarterback battle we had between those two, Nesmeyer and Klubnik, I am still shocked to see us not having more success with that total. It was 57.5, and we finished with 27 points. So it'll be interesting to see what those teams are able to do in week 2 if they're able to move that ball nicer. But you guys, we have to look at that poll. I want to quickly, before we bring in Sean Higgs here, look at where you guys are liking with the TCU UNC game. So right now it's pretty split over on X. X versus the books is what we're talking, you guys. TCU right now laying the 3.5. We got 29.6% of you sitting on that. UNC plus the 3.5, or on the money line, we got 33.3% of you guys liking that, and not much on that total for people liking the over. Only 7.4% of people wanting to bet that over 55.5. The under coming in at 29.6% of people wanting to jump in there. So it's going to be really interesting to see if X or the books is able to win on that poll. But before we start talking more about this game, let's bring in Picks and Parlays handicapper Sean Higgs. Sean, welcome to the show.
Well, hello, Joe. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for being the first guest over here on All-Jo Madden here on Picks and Parlays.
Well, I'm honored to be the first one on the show. We've done a few shows over the years together. First one here for the P&P family, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure I'll see you more as we do more videos here for your show and just the channel in general. So, yeah, I like what you're saying there. A couple of surprises with the football. I got my top one's got to be the Alabama game, and Alabama. There was no way you couldn't tell me that the score would be flipped like that. That should have been hats off to Norville. And I'll tell you what, Alabama fans, you got a problem over there with that coach. I think he's in over his head. I thought it was a good hire. Everybody thought it was a good hire. But just the sheer, he has more double-digit losses in a year in a game than Saban had ever, I think. Especially the unranked teams. This is, the joke is what, Joe? Well, now everybody gets paid – see how good Alabama is? I don't think that's a problem. I think they just got a good coach. And
not a good start at all for Kalen DeBoer there. What did you think of the quarterback there for Florida State?
The fact that the guy said in the preseason or off, whatever you want to call it, was like, oh, Saban can't help him from me. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Like, you won 5 games at Boston College with an NFL coach. You're going to come to Florida State with an underachiever and do something. I was shocked. I thought, oh, Alabama's gonna be like, are you kidding me? This guy's talking crap.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump into the TCU game, Sean. But first, I want to ask you: do you think it's an overreaction by the books with the lines moving on Arch Manning for the Heisman?
Yes and no. One, Ohio State has a good defense, right? They're the defending champs. You were on the road, and there was a first kind of really huge start for you. So. Now, did he look bad? People are going to put out, these mechanics and he's open. This game was 14-7. Did Ohio State, I think it was a combination of different things. Obviously, when we're just talking about the Florida State quarterback having a great, his odds, I'm sure, went, bottomed out. Look at this guy. It's one game. He's going to come and beat up some cupcakes, and then all of a sudden it'll be, oh, look, he's back.
Yeah,
he's got some other matchups. If he performs poorly and always against the bigger schools, maybe he stayed in school for a reason. Maybe he couldn't be that Quinn Ewers for a reason. He's got a nice last name. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Okay, let's jump into the big game of the night. TCU taking on UNC. We know Belichick rolling in here, top NFL coach, but what do you think he's going to be able to do in his college debut, Sean? We've got a spread of 3.5 with TCU rolling in with the experience here. They're on the road laying those points, and we've got a total that has moved. You can look at those totals over on Odds Logic. It's moved to 55.5 right now, Sean.
I do like the under a little bit here. Yep. You sign me up for the under for sure. What is Belichick? The fact that as great as he is, Hall of Fame coach, the line went from a pick'em to TCU laying 3.5. This is Sonny Dykes. He's got his coordinators back. He's got quarterback back who threw for 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. And but the simple fact is Belichick has taken over a college team, and he's never won without Tom Brady. Let's be honest. That's kind of like a knock on him. He left the NFL. There was something on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, his last draft. Nobody from his draft is even on the team anymore. Mm-hmm. Is that him not caring anymore? Now he's going to go carry at North Carolina? I can't see, they bring in a kid from South Alabama. Nice numbers.
Yeah.
The fact, though, with all the off-the-field nonsense, right? Oh, his girlfriend's 23. That all kind of died down. But the fact is that line is up to 3.5. There was no buyback on Bill Belichick here. And people think, oh, we're going to come in here and do a thing. I don't know if you can do a thing. People are high on this offense, think they're going to put up points. Maybe. All I know is the defense averages 30 points a game for the last decade. They can't stop anybody. And to go from Mac Brown, who was 74, to Belichick, who's 73, how do the kids relate? Let's be honest. These guys are – it's a different world. They might not even know who Tom Brady is, some of these guys. Jokingly, but how are you taking Bill Belichick? You can't. But 3.5, I don't think so. I prefer the under in this one for everybody for today's show. We'll go under. I think it'll be a, again, learning experience for North Carolina. Coach, not like they brought in 100 5-star recruits or something like that. Coordinators, whole new regime, all that good stuff. Give me the under. And it's TCU. I saw Nice story, TCU. We went to a championship game. You got handed a gift to get to the championship game, and then you got throttled. Not that NC's on that kind of level, but 3.5 on the road. I don't know if I can trust him at 3.5. Give me the under here, 55.
Okay, so the under 55.5. I want to ask you about that quarterback matchup because we know UNC's turned over so many players out there, including that quarterback role. Lopez coming out, he is a dual threat quarterback. You talked about his great numbers. He did a throw for 2,599 yards last season, and he added just under 500 yards with his legs. Are you expecting him to use his legs in this game, or do you expect those connections quickly with his receiving core?
No, I think he's going to take off, which will in turn move the clock. We're going to run the ball, not less incompletions. You're not going to come in and have this guy chuck it in game one. You're going to be a little conservative. We saw a lot more unders than overs this weekend. You want to kind of play a little, not close to the vest, but you don't want to have the kid chuck it and throwing interceptions here. I mean, he threw 18 touchdowns. It's not like he was throwing all over the place in South Alabama. You can't come in here and start throwing them versus a decent TCU team. I mean, TCU's got deep pockets. They got recruits. They're a legit, power team or however you want to learn. They're not top tier, but you can't have them just go throw it because, hey, we're going to throw it today. No, expect a lot of running from him. How about, I don't know what his run prop is. Want to go over his run total? Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look, especially when you look at TCU. Their strength really is in that secondary. So we're going to see him have to use his legs in this one. What about the quarterback here for TCU, Josh Hoover? Do you think he's going to have that connection again this year with Alex McAllister?
I know he lost some of his wide receivers, but again, you're in the system. It's easy for him. He knows he's going to throw to where he's got to throw to. If the guy's there, he's going to be set. I'm not worried about him. He's going to throw because that's the system. I mean, he threw almost 30 touchdowns last year, 4,000 some yards. They're going to throw the ball. I don't think it makes a difference. He'll be fine. The offense will be fine. That's why I got. I mean, again, from a pick 'em to a 3.5 tells you really all you need to know about what the markets think of TCU and UNC.
Absolutely. So when we looked at our poll over on X earlier, Sean, we were seeing the majority, and we're seeing those numbers still sitting the same. The majority of people laying that 3.5 with TCU, the under where you're going, 29.1% of people looking at that under 55.5. How low is too low? If the books start to move these lines, where would you be your cutoff point on that under?
What are you talking, like a half point, a point? It's not going to get crazy steam down. It's not like it's going to go to like a 51 or something. Short of there's some thunderstorm and crazy weather coming to town. I don't think that's the case. I'd go. Listen, you got your, for me, I'd probably go to like 53. I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to be a just a dead under, 27-10 kind of thing. Like just a ho-hum. It's Monday night. It's not real Monday Night Football. It could look like a Thursday Night Football game in October for NFL fans. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be high scoring at all.
Okay.
Again, my bias is towards NC. I'm not expecting anything from this team around. I think it's going to be a learning experience most of the season. Some people are high on. Who's high? The line has gone up. It's 11 o'clock, right? It's 11:15 in the morning. You think there'd be a little buyback right now in NC. It has not come yet.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to come.
We'll see what those books do by closing here. But you mentioned Thursday Night Football. We'll jump into that before we look at the action out there on the diamonds tonight. Thursday Night Football, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. We got the Eagles laying 7.5 in this one, minus 400 on that money line, total of 47.5. And make sure you guys do have your odds logic screen open so you can get the best of those lines. Sean, early looks in this game.
I'm a Cowboy guy. But last year, I liked the under. I like the under this year for the team. Still no running game. Still a banged-up offensive line. The defense was bad last year. You just trade away your best defensive player. It's going to be bad again. You got a new coach who I think is terrible. This is an overplay for me. Philly, I know you don't kind of go with Super Bowl champions. Like, a lot of it'll get bet up. And it has moved. It was like 6.5, 7.5 based on the Micah news moving. I don't think Dallas is good. I think Dak will throw the ball all over the joint to his receivers, but they're not stopping anybody. This is an over machine this year. I think if you're a want to get involved in Dallas games, you just go over, because whether it's a team total for them or for the other team, I just think this one screams to me like 46-31. Like Dallas will score points. They'll put up some garbage points like they usually do. Eagles are going to score against this defense. I love the over here.
We have a nice trend to that.
And I hate doing that because I hate just jumping. Everybody's going to be, it's like over. Listen, Dallas defense, is it win one for the Gipper? Like, we're going to show him. I don't think so. I don't think it's a good defense at all. I don't think the coach is good. I don't think the defense is good. The offensive line's not that great. No, over.
So we have seen the last 4 games between these two teams trend to that over, with all 4 of those going over. Do you trust, though, the Eagles more so to put up those points against the Cowboys defense? Like, should this be a look as well at the Philadelphia Eagles team total to the over?
Absolutely. I mean, this is still a rivalry like it was for the last 30 years. I mean, you think Philly is going to ease up on the gas against these guys? They're going to be like, let's smash these cats. This could be, they could score 30 in the first half, and then you might worry then. They get up, it's 30-7. You're like, oh, they're going to put the brakes on. I don't think they'll put the brakes on. They're getting to 40 themselves.
Yeah.
I think Eagles score 37, 44 in that range, and you need garbage scores by Dallas to get you over the total. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Kev Cook, I just want to give a shout out. We got people jumping in the YouTube comments here. So great to see you here this morning. Okay, so you think those points are coming. Where do you think they're coming from as far as players? You got any touchdown props? We love to jump into these touchdown markets. I'm
not a huge touchdown prop guy because, it's like home run props to me. I like more of a ribby prop. Like, I'll be a ribby prop guy. I'm going to find some like 5, 6, 7 hitter up like plus 150 as opposed to your, judges or tiny guys who are even money. So when I see plus 105 touchdowns, I can't do that. Maybe a 2 touchdown score, like Hurts would score 2, like Barkley. But even Barkley, I think with his workload last year, maybe he gets some action here in game 1, right?
Yeah.
But is it worth it for even money or minus 110 for a score? I'd have to look for a 2 touchdown score on a team, unless I could find someone off brand for like a plus 185 or $2 or something.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I look. I just dabble in those kind of things. Yeah. Because I don't like laying the money. I need the plus money. I'm the plus dollar daddy. I want pluses. I need plus 185, 240. I can't do a minus 110 on a touchdown or something.
No,
I'd rather lose with a 2 TD prop on Saquon than win with a minus 125 touchdown.
Absolutely. Saquon Barkley for an anytime touchdown, you guys, just to note those markets. Minus 210. We are seeing him for 2
minus 210.
Yeah, minus 210, Sean.
If you're coming in this show and want a minus 210, you're not watching this show because you're doing that stuff on your own. Don't come to listen to me, Mike. If you're watching the show and they give you minus 210, say, wow, I'm going to start my own channel and do your own thing too. With that.
Yeah, the 2+ touchdowns are plus 270. And if you think he's going to get that first touchdown, it's coming in at plus 380. Your top favorite for the touchdown for the Cowboys is CeeDee Lamb, coming in at plus 145. But it's a great, it's going to be a great game on Thursday.
Is CeeDee plus 145 for anytime touchdown, or is that first touchdown? Anytime.
Yeah.
I could get behind that. You guys are number 1 target. 145. Sign me up there. Sign me up 145 CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, there we go. We finally dragged out that touchdown prop out of you, Sean. I love it. Okay.
145. Let's go.
Yeah. And you guys, we have coming up with his picks. We're going to quickly swing into some Major League Baseball. What are you liking on today's slate? There's day games. Games are kicking off at 1:06 Eastern all the way to 8 o'clock tonight. You got anything that you want to give us today on the Diamonds?
I do. I'm just going to pull up a fresh number here on the this Brewers line. 9 runs, right? Yeah. And everybody loves this kid, Mussorgsky. Look at the strikeouts, right? It's 65 and 40 innings, all the stuff, 21 walks. I look at his numbers, and he's almost unhittable at home, Joe. I mean, a 150 batting average against a 90.92 whip, 13 hits allowed in his time there, 42 strikeouts. But he's got an ERA. You think you're leaving nobody on base. As good as he is, I don't say he's a reliever now. Where'd I go? I don't say he's a reliever now. But his numbers looks like he's so much better with his strikeouts and getting people out with nobody on base. A guy gets on base, he's coming around to score, which is crazy when you look at the strikeout ratio for the cat. I like the over 9. It just seems way too high for a guy who strikes out like 3 guys an inning. I mean, it's just ridiculous to strike out. And you get Taijuan Walker. Where are you going to go? He's going to go 5 innings and give up 3 runs. Right? That's a guarantee. We're going to get 3 runs out of that guy like nobody's business. The 9 looked extremely high. Again, for a pitcher as good as he's pitched, and you look at his numbers for his strikeouts and hits a lot and all that nonsense, whip, batting average against, you think it should be a 7.5? Mm-hmm. No, it's a 9. It's a 9. I guess the old too good to be true. I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe Beverly Hills Cop. We're going to go over to 9 there.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. The market is moving in the opposite direction on odds logic. We are starting to see 8.5s out there, but I do think you're on the right side of that. You look also at this game, and TJ Walker, I think, will give up some runs. I think the Brewers are going to get those runs on the board. So I'm seeing a 5-4 style game. Any lean on that total at all, or on the side at all for us, Sean?
I got a run line plus 140 with Milwaukee. It's freaking September 1st. They're still winning. It's not like, well, they're going to kind of regress. They haven't regressed yet. They haven't. They just keep this. These guys might be in the freaking World Series, this crew. Can you name 6 guys on the team? Probably people can't. Robin Yount's not on this team anymore. Plus 140, plus 135 run line. Again, I'm greedy. I like that. But, I didn't play a sider on this one. So if you're a Philly fan, you want to take 130 with your guys, I'm not going to say no to that. Phillies are, they rebounded nicely from the Mets spanking them. They had a nice series. I got nothing firm either way. I mean, I would be, either team, I'd look for the plus money. Philly as a dog, and then I go run line with the Brewers because I think Taijuan Walker's going to give up runs. I mean, I like the over. Obviously, I think teams will be scoring runs in this game. Okay. I'm not going to be shocked at like a 7-5, one of those 8-4 kind of games.
Okay, I love where you're going today. Great action out there. So correct me if I'm wrong. You're taking TCU versus UNC to the under. You're taking the Phillies and the Brewers to the over. You'll take that to the 9. And then you're going to take Thursday night football over that 47.5 and CeeDee Lamb for an anytime touchdown at plus 145.
There you go. Yeah. And we'll do a team total too for the Eagles over too.
I love it. I love it, Sean. So where can everyone find you on socials, and what do you have for sale on Picks and Parlays today for us?
There you go. At Mr. Sean Higgs on the X. Come give me a follow there. And for Tilt, I got some MLB up on the place. I give you, TCU I had up on the site. I can't, I got them. I put my games up early, Joe. I got them at minus 115. That line has since moved. You can't get minus 115 anymore. I still sort of like them. I don't want to do that. I can't do that to somebody. But MLB's been pretty good. I have, number 1 for the month MLB for August, rolling along 60%. Have a nice baseball season, and we'll continue here with college football and NFL. But just starting and soon to be beginning. So I got you covered on Picks and Parlays. Come give me a follow there.
Absolutely. You guys head on over to Picks and Parlays to get all of Sean's picks. Sean, thank you so much for joining us for the first All-Jo Madden here on Picks and Parlays. You guys have got Terry Edelmann coming up. We're going to get into reviewing where you guys are looking on X. Make sure you get on over and put in your post here, your selection on the TCU UNC game. We are seeing a little bit of movement. Lots of people all of a sudden coming in on UNC plus the 3.5 or on that money line sprinkle at plus 140. It is constant though with that total, what you guys are liking in there. So get your votes in. The under sitting at 31.6% of people liking that under. Now, I love where Sean Higgs is going with his games. And now we're going to bring in Terry Edelmann of Picks and Parlays. We're going to look at some baseball. We're going to look at CFL and Thursday night football. Terry, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be on the debut show.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. We're seeing all those comments coming in over on YouTube. So you guys make sure also you drop any questions you have for Terry or myself. We'll try to get to each and every single one of those. Lots of people saying they're coming in with those defensive touchdowns. That's my favorite prop, Terry. I don't know about you, but those defensive touchdowns, if you can call it right with a quarterback that throws those interceptions, they were straight money last season. Do you like that prop as well?
Not as much for me. I'll need like a few weeks of data. If there's a quarterback that is on an interception streak, then I could look at the defense. But I am a player prop guy. So
Okay.
player props are my thing. So I love them.
Well, let's jump firstly in today's action out there on the diamonds. We've got 13 games out there on the diamonds, plenty of opportunities to jump in. What is the first game that you're looking at?
It's actually the game that Higgs already talked about.
Okay.
Is the Milwaukee game. And with the Brewers, sometimes they can be a tough team when you're looking at player props because they've got offense throughout the lineup. You can count on a handful of guys to produce on a nightly basis. And I'm actually going with a prop here, and I'm going with a guy who's not usually in the starting lineup every day, but with an injury to Joey Ortiz, we've seen Andrew Monasterio take a full-time role. He's got an 11-game hit streak, so he's been really producing. I like his over 1.5 hit run RBI prop, which I got for plus 125 at BetMGM. 6 of his last 7 games, he's got multiple HRRs, and he's had success against Tajon Walker, 2 for 3 against him with a single and a double. So hitting the ball very well right now. He's had success against Tajon Walker. And Walker, overall in the season, 3.63 ERA. He's given up 42 hits in his last 39.1 innings pitched through his last 7 games. So he is still getting hit. And I like Monasterio. Really, with the hit-run RBI prop, if he gets a hit and there's a guy in second base, you could very well cash that prop with 1 hit. So I like Monasterio. Andrew Monasterio.
Okay.
Over 1.5 hit-run RBI.
Yeah, what value are you getting on him for that?
Plus 125.
Okay.
Because he's not a Christian Yelich or William Contreras. He's not a top-line player. So you get better odds with him. But he's just on a huge streak right now, so I'll take him here.
Okay, I love where you're going with that. What else can we look at today on the diamonds?
With other plays on baseball, I do have some premium plays up on the site.
Okay.
That was the only baseball play I was going to go over, but I do have, as I said, have a Thursday Night Football touchdown prop and some CFL action. So
perfect. Well, let's jump into the CFL action first. There's 2 games in the CFL today. Big Labor Day game between Edmonton and Calgary. We also have Toronto, the Argos, taking on the Hamilton Ticats. Which game, or are you looking at both of them?
I like the Calgary game, which I know is your hometown team, your favorite team. So happy to go over that game. But really, both games today, the game yesterday, this is like the biggest rivalry game. So people that aren't familiar with the CFL, these are the big games on the Labor Day weekend. And obviously Edmonton, Calgary, huge rivals, being obviously in the same province. And Edmonton's actually had some success against Calgary. They've won the last 4 meetings between the teams. And Edmonton having success is not something you hear very often. This Edmonton Elks team has been a disaster for the last 5 years. They have won 3 games in a row heading into this game, but you do have to look at who they faced. So they faced Ottawa last week. Not a good team, a team with a backup quarterback. Yeah. Before that, they faced Toronto, who's just been a disaster, especially defensively this year. Not having their starting quarterback, Chad Kelly, all season. And then a win against Montreal, who, again, is having their backup quarterback. So Edmonton, I feel, has gotten a little bit lucky here. Now they're coming in to face this Stampeders team, who I think it is fair to say is the biggest surprise of the CFL season so far. I did not expect this team to be this good. And right off the bat, the first week, they kind of showed how well they're going to play this year. And we've seen it. Last week, 32-15 win against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have the best record in the CFL. So Calgary took care of business against them. Now they're at home here against their biggest rival. I do like the Stampeders. The issue, though, is that I believe the Stampeders are like -7.5 here. So it's extremely tough to bet them from the side perspective. I like the team total over 30.5. which you can get at -120 at FanDuel. I think the Stampeders offense rolls here against this Edmonton Elks team. It looks like Edmonton's been playing, and they have been playing better the last 3 weeks. I have to give them that. But this Calgary Stampeders team is a completely different animal than what they've faced the last 3 weeks. So I like the Stampeders to score. And we've seen very high scoring games in the Labor Classic games recently as well.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be such a hot game in Calgary. The weather is going to be beautiful, and they're going to be completely sold out there. We're looking at Cody Fajardo coming out for the Edmonton Elks under center versus Vernon Adams Jr. And we know who the better quarterback is there, Terry, right? I'm looking at Calgary to run the clock, though, with Derek Mills. I think you can jump in on his rushing yards to the over as they run the ball down the throats here of the Edmonton Elks. This is going to be a great game. You talked about Toronto and the Hamilton Ticats. I really do think that game should be a higher scoring one. We're looking at two quarterbacks that really can sling that ball down the field. We got Nick Arbuckle versus Bo Levi Mitchell. So if you guys are looking at some more CFL action other than this Edmonton and Calgary game, I definitely would be taking the Argos and the Ticats to the over 57.5. It's a high scoring one. You might be able to get a better number live betting that one if it starts off a little slow, but Terry mentioned it. Toronto's defense, it's just terrible out there this year. Hamilton with Bo Levi Mitchell, who's leading the league in passing yards this season, should be able to throw that ball left, right, and center. But Terry, Thursday night football, I know you got some player props. Before we jump into those player props, any early look on the sides in this one? We got a total here sitting at 47.5 between these two teams, and we do have the Eagles rolling in as a 7.5 point favorite.
Yeah, the side is really tough in this one. This one, I have some multiple plays in a few other games this week. But this one, when I was looking at it, I do lean with the over here, the 47.5. But that spread number is just, I like the Eagles to win this game, which shouldn't be a surprise to everyone. They're a 7.5 spread, but I don't know if they cover that number here. Everyone's kind of down on this Cowboys team right now, and we did not see very good offense from them in the preseason. But their coach and Prescott said they were keeping everything kind of close to the vest. They didn't really want to show off what their offense is going to look like this year. But they did say to expect an exciting offense. So with that being said, that's why I kind of lean towards the over. And I kind of lean towards the Cowboys plus the points. But Higgs already said it. He stole my thunder with CeeDee Lamb. That's my play, is CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown. I got it plus 175 earlier on in the week. I'm seeing anywhere from plus 115 to plus 162 for CeeDee Lamb. If the Cowboys are going to have an exciting offense, if that's true, if they're going to have an exciting offense, how does that not go through CeeDee Lamb? He is by far their best receiver, their most exciting player, their best player. So if there's going to be an exciting offense, we should see CeeDee Lamb find the end zone. Plus money, I think it's great value there, just with the fact that there's not a lot of other guys that you can really count on the receiving core other than Lamb. So I like him to find the end zone at plus money.
Yeah, I love that plus 145 market for CeeDee Lamb. The next guy for the Cowboys to get in the end zone, the second favorite for them is Williams coming in at plus 210, then George Pickens at plus 230. Now, Patrick in the chat liking A.J. Brown there for the anytime touchdown. He did get it at plus 130. We are seeing it up to plus 165, so make sure you guys do open your Odds Logic page and shop those lines out there for the best value in those player props. But Patrick Burns, I'm with you. I think AJ Brown can get in the end zone for the Eagles in this matchup. Terry, looking at AJ Brown, what are your thoughts on him to get in the end zone?
Yeah, if Hurts is going to get a passing touchdown, then that's the guy to look at for sure. Just the issue with this Eagles team, though, is that obviously you got Barkley there, but Jalen Hurts in the tush push, he can steal touchdowns as well. So if he's going to be passing, then yeah, I would look at AJ Brown. But I like Hurts as well to get a touchdown here. The tush push, that's what they do. So wouldn't surprise me to see him do that if they get close to the 1 or 2 yard line.
Absolutely. And then someone did throw out in the chat, they love those defensive touchdowns. Terry, you and I talked on it a little bit, but when we're looking at those defensive touchdowns, I just want to give you guys the odds. The Philadelphia Eagles defense to get that touchdown at plus 500. Dallas's defense at plus 850. And I do think the books are on the right way for this line, because I think if anyone's going to throw that interception, any team's going to run it back, it's going to be Philly's defense here. I would look at the Philadelphia Eagles for the defensive touchdown at plus 500. We know Dak can throw those interceptions, right, Terry?
Yeah, he can. I'm hoping for good things. I'm not a Dallas fan or anything, but just with everyone being so down on them, I'm kind of hoping that we see a good game from them in week 1.
Absolutely. So looking at that line again, you guys, it is 7.5 right now, total of 47.5. Terry, you've come on, you've given out all of your picks today. Do you just want to do a quick recap of your picks and then let everyone know what you got for sale today on Picks and Parlays and where they can find you on socials?
Yeah, Andrew Monasterio for the Milwaukee Brewers, over 1.5 hit run RBIs, which I got for plus 125. And then I like the Calgary Stampeders team total over 30.5, which I got for minus 120. And then CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown, which I got earlier in the week for plus 175. If you want to bet it, I would bet it now. As we get closer to game time, people are going to be betting CeeDee Lamb touchdown. So we're going to continue to see the odds move. So that is something that I would get on earlier rather than later. You can find me over on XTE Picks. Also have my own YouTube channel where I do a daily show, MLB Player Props Focus. So you can check that out as well. And then hoping to be on a lot of videos here on the channel. Super happy to see the new content coming.
Absolutely, Terry. We'll definitely have you back again, you guys. This show running Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern live here on YouTube. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. But Terry, thank you so much for joining me here today on the debut of All-Jo Madden. I really appreciate your time, and let's make some freaking money out there.
Sounds great.
Okay, you guys, so we've had Sean Higgs on, we've had Terry Edelmann on, and now we're going to jump into the bets that I'm liking on today's slate. Before we do that, I just want to reference that poll again. If you guys haven't got your votes in, make sure you go over and get those votes in right now. And like I said, hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. Drop those questions in YouTube as well, because we're hanging around for a little bit longer, and I want to make sure I answer all of your questions. One thing holding over on X is that total people liking that to the under 55.5, 31.7% of you liking that under. Really split though between TCU and UNC. TCU laying the 3.5, 30% of you on X liking that. UNC plus the 3.5, or on that money line 31.7% on that side of things. But let's jump in to where I give out my plays. It's play it like Madden. Fade or follow, you guys. I'm going to give you my favorite bets in the segment each and every single day that we are live at the end of the show. So when I'm looking at TCU versus UNC, I think this is TCU all day. I think they just have way too much experience for me not to lay the 3.5 with TCU. That's coming in at minus 115. I'm also going to put the alt bet in. I think they win this one by a touchdown. I know it's Bill Belichick here for UNC, but I just can't get behind this team with how many turnovers in players they've had. I think they're going to struggle out here versus TCU, who's already had that chemistry, made those connections out there on the field. I'll lay the 6.5 with TCU. It's at plus 114. I wanted more value, you guys, but you're just not getting it there. I think Bill Belichick will get this team going the way that he wants, but just not in this first game. I'm expecting so much out of TCU. Now, their quarterback, Josh Hoover here, I'm looking for him to be able to sling that ball. I think he's so underrated in the market, and I can't believe more people aren't jumping on him. He has a passing prop of 289.5. give me that all day long to the over. I won't be shocked if he hits 300 passing yards in this one. Like I said, I do think North Carolina is going to struggle to stop TCU. So at minus 114, Josh Hoover over 289.5 passing yards is the way I have to go. Belichick's defense will get that step up, but just not right out of the gate. And then Eric McAllister, if I can talk here, for TCU. I love his receiving yards. He is a prime target for Hoover out here. And I do think McAllister will get some nice passes from him, nice and deep. Now, he was his favorite threat last year. He is returning, senior wideout. He had 762 receiving yards last season, 5 scores, and he averaged 19.5 yards per reception. I'm looking for him to go off. If you want to look at him for the anytime touchdown, I don't blame you. I do think he gets in the end zone and nicely goes over the 76.5 receiving yards. So with TCU versus UNC, I'm taking TCU laying the 3.5 at minus 115, sprinkling on that alt spread laying 6.5 at plus 114. Josh Hoover, the quarterback here for TCU, over 289.5. Passing yards, expecting him to hit right around 300 at minus 114. Eric McAllister for TCU over 76.5 receiving yards at minus 114. And I would look at that touchdown prop as well. And when we turn to MLB today, we've got day action, you guys. I love day action baseball. My Toronto Blue Jays are in action versus the Cincinnati Reds. Now the Jays coming in at plus 100 currently on the money line, minus 118 for the Reds, and we got a total of 8.5. I'm going to stay off the side in this one. I got a strikeout prop, actually 2 strikeout props for you guys in MLB. I'm going to look at Hunter Green here of the Cincinnati Reds. Now, I know it's hard to take a pitcher to the under, and I don't normally love doing it, but we're looking at a Jays team that really isn't striking out a lot. They're only averaging 6.72 strikeouts per game. They're being so disciplined at the plate, and we're looking at Hunter Green coming off a game versus the Dodgers, which he did go 5 innings. He only recorded 3 strikeouts. His prop today is under 5.5 at minus 102. I've got to roll with that. It is Hunter Green for the Cincinnati Reds versus Chris Bassett here of the Toronto Blue Jays. I think this really is the lines pretty on for this one. So just give me the strikeout prop of Hunter Green under 5.5 strikeouts. And then I got to take a picture to the over, you guys. I love looking at overs on strikeout props. I got circled the LA Angels versus the Houston Astros. Now, the LA Angels enter this game right around that plus 125 mark. We've got the Houston Astros at minus 146 and a total of 8.5. Kikuchi coming out here for the Angels versus Luis Garcia. Now, Luis Garcia, we haven't seen since 2023 in the majors. That was the last time he pitched in the majors. I just don't understand this line. I know the Astros are a better team than the Angels, but you got Kikuchi coming out. This is where I have faith in the Angels today. Kikuchi, ulting, 6+ strikeouts. If you look at his regular number, it's 4.5. It's way too highly juiced. You guys don't bet it. If you want to ult it, if you have that faith like I do, ulting him to 6+ strikeouts at plus 130 is definitely where I am going to go in this one. Kikuchi has recorded 8 or more strikeouts in 3 of his last appearances in Houston, and I do think he's able to get it done today. Kikuchi, ult number, 6+ strikeouts. Okay, so those are my best bets on the diamonds. Again, Hunter Green under his strikeouts for the Cincinnati Reds of 5.5 at minus 102, and Kikuchi ulting 6+ strikeouts at plus 130 for the LA Angels versus the Astros. I quickly want to touch on my win totals for the NFL season. We know we've got Thursday night football. We're on the countdown, you guys. It is Monday, September 1st. You got to get those win totals in. The first one I'm absolutely loving. My favorite win total of the season is the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos over 9.5 wins. This is a team that was able to go 10-7 last year, and I do think Bo Nix is not going to have negative regression out here like some people are expecting. You're looking at the connection between Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, second to none, in my opinion. You look at that backfield, picking up J.K. Dobbins from my LA Chargers, adding R.J. Harvey into the mix. This team is going to be so solid offensively. And then you look at this defense. I promise you guys, I totally believe the Denver's defense is going to be the best in the whole country this year. I'm looking at the Denver Broncos over the 9.5 wins. Then We turn to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who wants to fade Mike Tomlin? Every single season, people throwing out the fades on Mike Tomlin, and I'm just not going to do it. The Pittsburgh Steelers over 8.5 wins at plus 105. He's going to be above 500 with this team. I guess a lot of people not believing Aaron Rodgers is going to make the cut and that this will be his last season and he won't go out strong. But I'm thinking the opposite. I think Mike Tomlin's going to be able to get him those wins. And I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've got to win that first game versus the Jets. That has everything to do with this win total. I think they roll in. Aaron Rodgers gets his revenge. They get that win there, and then they keep cruising. 10 wins for the Pittsburgh Steelers, nicely taking it over the 8.5 at plus 105. And then lastly, I got to fade a team, you guys, the New Orleans Saints here, coming in under 4.5 wins at plus 100. I just don't trust this team to even get 3 wins. You look at that quarterback room, and I can't trust Spencer Rattler for sure, or Suck to come out nice and strong. I think this is going to be a team that absolutely gets that first draft pick, that struggles to get any of those wins. Now, will they have some tight games and scare us? Absolutely. They're still a competitive football team out there, but I'm just not seeing that step up where they can get 5 wins. That's asking a lot for this team and everything they got going on. But you guys, those are my win totals. Denver over 9.5 wins, the Pittsburgh Steelers over 8.5 wins, and the New Orleans Saints under 4.5 wins. So if you guys are liking any of those win totals, make sure you do drop them in the chat there. Let us know what you're liking. I do have some really interesting trends for you for the Cowboys and the Eagles game on Thursday Night Football. And this is something I'll be coming at you with as well, making sure you guys know where those trends are at. And maybe you don't want to bet them based on the trends, but I always want to make sure that you guys do know those trends. So when we look at this matchup, we know the Eagles are rolling in as a 7.5 point favorite. This total 47.5. The over does agree with the trends. We have seen the last 4 games between the Cowboys and the Eagles in Philadelphia go over that total. So definitely a strong way looking at that 47.5. If you like it, I expect the public money to come in on this line. So I would get it in before we see that bump up to 48. When also we're looking at the Eagles have won their last 10 home games. Nice strong trend there. They are a 7.5 point favorite though, so that doesn't help us with the spread, but maybe it helps you for your survivor pick 'em. The Eagles have also won the first half in their last 11 games. That's a really interesting angle, and I think it's a strong angle to look at even with the spread. I would look at the first half spread here for the Eagles to come in, so you don't get that garbage time field goal that the Cowboys could put up to blow anyone that is laying the 7.5 with the Eagles for the full game. Now, when we look though at that spread, the favorite has covered the spread in the last 8 games between the Cowboys and the Eagles. So there is your confidence behind the 7.5, you guys. It should be a great Thursday night matchup, but we are live here on Picks and Parlays on YouTube Monday, Thursday, and Friday. So there will be a show Thursday before this game kicks off, 11 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys join me as well as my guests. We're going to have another solid lineup on a Thursday, but as we look into Thursday's game, don't forget both Sean Higgs and Terry Edelmann are liking this game to the over 47.5. Both of them are liking that CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown. We had Patrick throw out AJ Brown for the anytime touchdown in the chat. I love that defensive touchdown out of the Philadelphia Eagles as well, coming in right around that plus 500 mark. But you guys, I want to thank you so very much for joining me here today on the very first All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. Make sure you do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification button so you know when we go live. And if you're looking for the best bets for all of the cappers over on Picks and Parlays, make sure you go on over to the website. These guys have so much for sale. You guys don't want to miss out on their best bets. But until next time, you guys, stay hot and let's make some freaking money.